and welcome to another episode of the Awesome in Seattle podcast. This is your host, Christian Nossum with the Awesome Nossum Group at Wilson Realty. Today, I have a very special, beautiful guest, my wife.
Oh, thank you so much.
Shannon Nossum. Thank you for joining me today.
By the way, you're really fast with your intro, like this fastest talking of your life.
I just had a bunch of coffee. It is the middle of the day, and
I love it.
Yeah, it takes what it takes.
He's pepped up. He's ready to talk about this today.
It is one of my favorite topics.
Truly, I keep telling him, stop talking to me about this. We're doing this on a podcast. Don't tell me anymore.
Yep.
I want to be surprised. So
yes,
it's going to be great.
All right. Why don't you tell us what we're talking about?
Yeah, we are talking about credit card points and how to use them for travel. So we've been getting this question constantly. We just traveled to Europe with our children, our 3 kids, and we use points for almost all of it, which is insane, especially since the kids, like we all flew, was it business class?
Business class.
So the kids had like lie down seats. They gave them lobster as an appetizer, which the kids thought was their dinner, and they ate it, and then they brought them a steak and they lost their minds. Like, wait, what? That lobster was my appetizer? So they were living the bougie life.
Yes.
Thanks to Christian's incredible credit card point skills. And today, investors, homeowners, all people who have credit cards, this is your moment to learn from the master of credit.
I don't know if I'm the master.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you are a real estate investor, like we are, you are spending a lot of money.
Flipping these houses,
an ungodly
building
amount
houses. You're spending a lot of money. Today, we're going to teach you how you can use all that spending to help fund your vacations where you can live real nice, fly business class around the world for almost nothing cost-wise, only in points.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be great. So before we get into that, let's talk about how are you paying. So I'm going to go back. We remodel homes and we flip homes. We build homes. Not all of this can be put on credit cards. Obviously, lots of money's going out the door every month. But tell me, what do we want to put on credit cards? How do you get as much of that stuff you're paying for onto the credit card?
So obviously, not every contractor GC is going to allow you to pay with a credit card. A lot more either companies and stores now are adding a 3% credit card surcharge. So you really need to weigh whether or not you want to or you can pay with a credit card some of the time. It really just depends on what's going on. So sometimes I will, in a pinch, be willing to pay a 3% surcharge or 2.5% or whatever the fee is, especially if I have a new credit card that has a spending limit that I have to hit. So I guess I'll break it down even more. When you get a new credit card, when you get a new credit card, it often has a big sign-up bonus of like 60 to 150. I've even had some as high as 250 or 300,000 points, but you have to spend a certain dollar amount within a set time frame. Usually it's within the first 60 to 90 days. Sometimes it's as long as 6 months for these bigger spending limits. Once you hit that spending max, or not max, but that spending limit minimum, that's when they give you all these points. And so that's the easiest way to really build a stockpile of credit card points. So for instance, I think right now the public offer, and I say public because sometimes you can get individualized offers.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, I know nothing. He literally does all of this, so I'm learning with you today. Not that I need to, but.
So for instance, the 2 main credit card point ecosystems out there are Chase.
We're getting nerdy now.
We are getting nerdy.
Go.
Chase and American Express. Those are the 2 credit card ones. Now, on top of that, there's airlines that each have their own. So like Alaska Airlines and Hawaiian, they're combined. They just created Atmos, which is their new credit card points system. Hilton has their own. Marriott has their own. Hyatt has their own. Like Delta has their own. Most airlines have their own. Some of them are, some of the airlines have teamed up And so they have like one that is shared between numerous airlines. So anyway,
Can I go back a step real quick? So obviously to get the most points, you want to spend the most money you can on your cards.
Yes.
So I know I've seen this come through our email, like maybe our architect or whatever will send out an invoice and then you will ask them, like, can I pay with credit? So sometimes they won't offer it. You have to actually
initially
ask them if you can pay with a credit card. So I just wanted to point that out because the more things you can pay with a credit card,
that's how you're going to build up the points.
Yeah, the more points you're going to get.
Yep.
And then I also wanted to point out, we have a good hack, which I feel like I want to share. We have 1Password, which is kind of a way that you keep your passwords secure, and it also saves like important documents, but it also has your credit cards on there. I, not knowing anything about our credit card game, never know what card to use. And so, Christian, you want to explain how you tell me on there?
Yeah.
What it's
so
supposed to do?
I literally make it as easy as so I guess I'll take a step back, but I label the card and say, use this. That's literally the name of the credit card, or don't use this one. Yes. Like it's that simple.
Or if it's like specific to, if you're an investor and you have LLCs, like it'll say this LLC, but we might have multiple cards for that LLC. So it'll say use this because he's trying to get to meet that minimum.
Yep.
So I just want to point out that if you have like, you're working with a partner or you're working with other people who are paying, there's an easy way to kind of chart which card you want them using.
Yep. And 1Password is essentially like a program application on your phone and your computer. It syncs between all your devices. And so if you're on your phone and you need to pay a bill, you can just pull it up right there. It's an easy way to just save everything.
Honestly, it's kind of amazing in general.
It is.
Okay, so back to the cards. What's the best card? What do we want to get?
Okay, well, that's a loaded question. So it depends. So what we do is for every flip, we do them in a new LLC. This costs a slight amount of money to create an LLC and file it and do all that.
And a slight amount of Shannon's sanity.
Yes, because she's the one that has to do that.
Every time we do a new LLC.
But the reason we do that is because that is now a new business entity. With every new business entity, you can get a new business credit card. So even though we are the only members of the LLC, it doesn't affect our personal credit because it's a business. So this is how, when you're flipping or building or just remodeling, you can actually have a ton of different credit. We have a stack of unused cards, or cards, I guess, not all unused, but credit cards like that thick.
And this doesn't affect your credit as much as you'd think, right?
This doesn't affect your personal credit at all.
Kind of people think, oh, if you open too many credit cards, you're not,
So on the personal side of things, for your personal credit, you want to have, and you can do all this research on your own, I'm just going to glance over it, but you want to have your credit cards opened as long as you can. The longer you have established credit cards, lines of credit open, the more the credit card companies like you. So the more your credit score goes up. And someone might think that we have all these cards, our credit score is crap. It's just the opposite. We just got a new card, personal card, and they sent a letter saying, when you get a new card, they give you a letter and it says what your credit score was, and it was 839. So that's extremely high for your credit score.
Why are you going to share in our business? I'm just playing with you. Okay, so what's the best card? This is the big question.
You're doing business, a business line of credit or a business credit card, you always want to shop around and see, but stick with one ecosystem. So stick only with Chase or only with Amex, American Express, until you kind of max out all of the cards that one has to offer. So for Chase, they have a whole line of business cards that are called the Inc. card. One of them is free. Two of them, I think, are $99 a year for their annual fee. And then another one has a higher fee that I think they just increased. I don't really know. I don't pay attention to that one because it has a higher fee. They all have different pros and cons. So each of those cards will earn you, depending on different categories of spend, a different number of points. So so what that means is different categories of spend, meaning they will have, say you earn 3 points per dollar spent on restaurants, and so dining and hardware stores, for instance. That is a great one for if you're flipping, because you're going to spend a lot of money on hardware stores. like Home Depot, Lowe's, anything else that is considered a hardware store by the credit card company. So for every dollar, you can earn 3 points, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's really good.
And then if you're going out to eat, you can actually put that on that card as well. So if we have a business meeting, we might charge it to that LLC because at that
we're
meeting,
talking to a new investor
or something like that, or we're taking a contractor out because we want to keep them happy. Like it'll be on that card. So probably start with Chase. That's what most people start with. That's what we started with. But once you kind of max all those out, then you can go and dip your toes into the American Express portal. American Express has 3 major credit cards. The Platinum, which has like a $695 annual fee. It's a lot. You get a ton of extra benefits though. So you got to weigh those out to see if you're actually going to utilize them. Like it gives us free global entry for the entire family, which is, I think, $200 for one person and then $100 for everybody after that. So that adds up real quick. It gives you a ton of different benefits, free TSA pre-check, all these things. Also Clear at the airport, which is awesome.
Yeah, we've been using that.
Yeah, so we skip the line whenever we go travel. It's great.
Okay, and then we don't want cash back, right? We want transferable.
Yeah, so cash back, we don't ever use that, and we don't go for cards that have cash back. We go for cards that build points because I know how to, and I will teach you how to use those points so that they're worth more than the cash back that you would get.
Okay. And then how many points, if somebody has, like, is there a threshold of points where you're like, I have a lot of points now, I should go look and try to plan a vacation?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can use your points whenever you want. Some companies will even let you do a combination of points and cash.
Okay.
So if you don't have enough points, you can pay the cash difference, or you can actually buy points if you need to like refill your points bucket. So let's say I'm
just trying to understand how much. Let's say you have 100,000 points. Is that nothing or is that good?
It's not a lot. I mean, it's a decent amount. It's so to put it into context.
Yeah.
When we flew business class to Paris from Seattle, actually we went to Norway first. It was 60,000 points, Air France points, for each ticket one way. So with 100,000 points,
got it.
It's going to be not quite a round trip flight.
Okay.
Now that said, that was a deal.
Yeah, it sounds like a good deal.
Yeah. That was not like the base price.
So now we have all these points. In theory, we've used the cards properly. We have been spending all of our rehab money on this. How do you use them? Do you just log on somewhere and what does this process look like?
Yeah. So there's 2 different ways to do that. The one that is not really recommended is to use the portal that the credit card company has.
Okay.
So if you go to chase.com, you log into your account, then you go to the Ultimate Rewards portal. You can book flights, you can book hotels and all that through there. And they will kind of incentivize you with like a $50 off or $100 off if you do that. But it's not the best redemption, meaning if you were to instead transfer those points to a partner that they have. So Chase will let you transfer it to a ton of different partners, a ton of different flight or airline partners and hotel partners.
So like Air France, Hyatt, like all the, okay. So you can just transfer your points.
Yep. So generally there's what they call sweet spots. And that's where you can transfer it to one of these different, like Air France, for example. We love Air France. We also love Hyatt. Those are the 2 that we have used most recently. Air France, when we did transfer, not only did we get a deal, but they had I think it was a 20 or a 30% transfer bonus. So for every point I transferred, I got an extra 20 or 30%. So it really reduced the cost of the business class tickets that we bought by whatever that was, 20 or 30%. I don't really remember what it was because it was like over a year ago that we booked these.
Okay. So you transfer the points. Is this hard to do? How far ahead of buying a ticket do you need to do it? Can you do it and then it happens like right away?
The majority of the time, the points do transfer instantly. So you have to, in the Chase portal or in the American Express portal, you do need to log in and connect your whatever airline or hotel partner But once it's connected, which doesn't take much, then the majority of the time it does transfer instantly. I have heard horror stories where things just waited and didn't transfer. I don't know why, but that's a pretty rare occurrence. If in doubt, you can always also call the airline, ask them, and I've heard people do this. I've never done this because I haven't needed to because it worked instantly, but you can always ask the airline while you're on the phone with them, hey, can you put these tickets on hold? I'm transferring the points right now. Once they transfer, then you do it. And I've heard people do that.
Got it. Okay. How do we find the deal that we want to do? So let's say I'm looking for a hotel or I'm looking for a flight. How do we actually do that part?
Good question. And that is kind of the hardest part. So this is kind of a game. At least that's how I look at it. Otherwise, I'd be really annoyed. You could also look at it as kind of a part-time job, side hustle, because it's not easy necessarily to find deals. Now, you can go on to, like we also have Alaska Airlines miles, which you cannot transfer other than Bilt, which is a interesting credit card that we don't have. You can't really transfer points from your credit card to Alaska Airlines. There was a short...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Alaska, you actually have to earn either with the Alaska Airlines credit card or by flying.
Okay.
That said, they're generally viewed as more valuable, meaning you get an outsized reward for spending those points. That said, you have to work a little harder to find them. Okay. So find the actual flights that you want. So like right now, even though we just got back from Europe, I'm planning next summer's trip to Japan. Crazy, but you have to do this sometimes like a year in advance. We also have 5 tickets I'm trying to get as an award flight. That's what these are called, award flights. Not every flight or not every seat on the plane is technically an award flight. So it's kind of like finding a deal.
How do you find it? Where do you look? So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Alaska as an example because a lot of people use this airline.
So Alaska, the spending, so for this Tokyo flight that we're looking for, Seattle to Tokyo, you go to alaskaairlines.com, you look there. The thing is, spending or buying a flight on alaskaairlines.com that is an Alaska or Hawaiian Air flight is super expensive. So one way is somewhere between 170 and 250,000 points per ticket. Okay. So it's super expensive. It actually doesn't make any sense. That said, Japan Airlines, which actually has a fantastic, actually better rated first class experience than Hawaiian Airlines, they are a partner. So JAL is a partner with Alaska Airlines. It's only 95,000, sometimes 75,000, I believe, points for one-way business class. So while it's a lot of points, it's a better product on a different airline. And with Alaska Airlines, this is a new thing within the last year, when you travel on award flights, meaning tickets you bought with points, it actually counts as towards your status with the airline. So if you're trying to get, it used to be called MVP Gold or MVP Titanium or all these things. They changed the name. Actually, now it's changed to Gold, Titanium, and Platinum or something like that. This is the other thing. They're always changing things. So there's other... You. Yes, there's other... you have to kind of stay up on what these changes are. So like Frequent Miler is a podcast and a website that does a great job of keeping me up to date on this.
Okay.
The Points Guy does a great job of this too. There's a ton of these companies or people that will keep you up to date.
Educate you as the process goes.
And then where you actually look, now if we weren't looking for an Alaska Airlines operated flight or partner flight, we were looking for something like Chase or American Express.
Okay.
I like Roam.travel, ROAME.travel. And then if you have American Express.
And what does that do? What is Roam?
It's like Expedia.
Okay.
Except for points.
So what do you look for on there? Like, how does that work?
So, like, I have one already up. Look, Seattle to Tokyo. Actually, no, this is Tokyo to Seattle.
And this is just points things?
This is just points.
Oh, okay.
So it shows you, and you can filter it for, these are the dates I want to travel. These are the points that I have. So it doesn't show you, like Capital One is another points currency. I don't have Capital One, so I filter that out because I can't transfer that. So I don't care about those flights. So Rome.travel is a great one that kind of is essentially like Expedia.com.
Got it.
Except for points.
Okay.
Another one, if you have American Express, Point.me, which is normally a paid service. American Express has as part of your bonus of using it, has a free version of that.
Oh.
So it's amex.point.me, and you can sign in through your American Express account and use that. And then for hotels, I actually like Max My Point. Let me see. I have it written down. I believe it's maxmypoint.com. They actually will... Yeah, it's maxmypoint.com. They will help me find those hotel deals. So let's talk about hotels.
Yeah, let's talk about hotels.
So again, I briefly talked about how different airlines, different credit cards are different currencies. That's how you have to look at it. Like there's an American dollar, there's Canadian dollar, there's pesos, there's the yen. Yeah. These are all different currencies. Chase points, American Express points, Alaska Airlines points, Hyatt points, Marriott points. These are all different currencies.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
So Hyatt points are worth way more than Marriott points.
I love the Hyatt, so I'm really excited about that.
So I'm going to give you an example. So, for example, Marriott might charge 60,000 points per night for a hotel that costs $300 a night cash.
Okay.
So that's about a half a point or half a cent per point. Does that make sense? So you're just dividing it and figuring out how many cents per point.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Hyatt might charge 20,000 points per night for a hotel that costs $400 in cash.
Oh, wow.
Which is actually pretty accurate. That's 2 cents per point. So that's 4 times more value for your points. Now, Chase, you can transfer 60,000 points from Chase to Marriott or Chase to Hyatt.
So you can
Hyatt's
pick which one, so it's like better
you can
value.
choose. So go with Hyatt because you're going to get way more value. So with 60,000 points on Marriott, you get 1 night. With 60,000 points at Hyatt, you get 3 nights. And it's the same number of points leaving your Chase account, but you get way more value. So I like Hyatt a lot more.
And you use this most of the time when we go to hotels. So like if we go to Disneyland, instead of staying at a Disney hotel, we do the Hyatt nearby or, okay.
Yep.
And is it hard to find hotel rooms that you can pay with points, or is that?
No. So you can go
easy?
to each individual like Hyatt.com and you can search right on there. Go to Marriott.com, search right on there. They don't make it as easy because you're searching like one specific day, or maybe they'll show you one day on either end, or maybe sometimes a week's worth. But it's kind of hard and tedious to go through each day.
So tell us about the Max My Points. How does that work?
So Max My Point, instead of just showing you like 1 or 2 days worth of availability and how much it costs, they'll show you like a full-on calendar, like a month-long calendar. And when there's numerous days that are available, because again, it's not always going to be available. They don't always have these points rooms available. Max My Point also shows you like the suite cost versus just the regular standard room.
Okay.
That said, you always want to double check with that branded hotel that it's actually there. So like Max My Point will give me a pretty good idea that it's probably available. I always double check at Hyatt.com to make sure it's actually available. Sometimes I will even call, especially with Hyatt. I don't keep like a ton of points in my Hyatt account. I only transfer it in when I actually need it. Okay. And so on Hyatt, they don't always tell you exactly how many points. When I say for a date range, it'll say it could be from 20,000 points per night. But some nights, like on a busier night, maybe a Friday or a Saturday, it's going to be 25,000 points for that same room versus 20,000 for a Wednesday or a Thursday. So I will call and I'll say, hey, how many points is this going to be? Cool. I'll transfer it while I'm on the phone, and then I'll book, and then I'll confirm while I'm on the phone that it actually went through.
Okay. And sometimes if they only have like 1 or 2 nights and you need 3 nights, do you book with the credit card for 1 or 2 nights and then you just pay for the other night, and then you have 2 different reservations and you just make it?
We've done that before for sure. On a trip like we had to go at that specific time. Yeah, we've done that. And it's still a great way to save money.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about timing. So you were saying you were looking for next summer's plane tickets. Talk about that.
Yeah, so airlines they will release their reward or saver fares, which are these fares that are available to book with points, the best deal on points, depending on the airline, 11 or 12 months in advance. So that's why I've been looking at next summer now, because it's summer.
Got it. Okay.
So hotels, I don't actually know when they release. I think they're kind of more flexible on that. But that's when I'm always looking for flights. That said, leading right up to like within a couple weeks of a flight departure date, sometimes stuff will open up then too.
Interesting. And
I'm not willing to wait and do
it?
that.
Yeah.
Especially because we're always looking for 5 seats. If it was a trip with just you and I, and maybe it's a last minute thing that we're trying to do, maybe we'll do that.
Yeah. So what happens, and this did happen to us once, you book a big flight using points and then you have to change it.
Yep.
How does that work? What do you do?
So
You lose your points?
No. So it depends on the airline, obviously. But what we did was I had to call and just tell them what happened. And it was a medical thing with one of our kids. They needed surgery. We couldn't fly. We had to postpone it. So I called. They said, hey, you got to give us a letter from your doctor. I actually had to give them that letter. And then they're like, okay, cool. It's fine. If you don't have a valid reason that is in their policy, you can often just like cancel it and they'll refund some of the rewards, and maybe they'll charge you like some dollar amount to do that, but it's still probably a good idea. Still a good deal.
Okay. And then, so let's just give an example. Let's say somebody has a lot of points and they want to go to Greece. What would be their steps? How would they go about it?
So here's what I do. I will look at Rome.travel. And I will just do, hey, where exactly do I want to go? I want to go to Athens because that's the biggest airport there. I'll go, okay, Seattle, Athens direct. Are there any flights? Because that's the most direct way. Most likely there's going to be a connection in there somewhere because there's not a lot of Seattle, Athens flights. And then I'll just kind of make a little chart and go, okay, well, it's going to cost this many points per ticket. Then I'll go, okay, well, what about Seattle to some nearby airport or something somewhere close to there. If I already know that I'm transferring through Paris or Heathrow, I will then just do like, okay, well, how much is it to Heathrow or to Paris or to Amsterdam? Because those are the 3 major hubs. And I'll just see if there's available flights for that because that's more often available because there's so many more flights there.
Got it. Okay.
So then I'll go, okay, well, I might pay a cash price to go from that main hub to the city I actually want to go to, or maybe I'll make a trip out of it and do a train and stop on somewhere on the way or something like that. But I just need to get to Europe, and then once I'm there, I can figure out a pretty inexpensive way to get where I want to go.
And that's why we went to Venice, right? Because we needed to get a flight back, and the best flight for points was in Venice. So we're like, we got to end in Venice somehow.
Yeah,
this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Not that it wasn't amazing and
I mean, we wanted to go there anyway. But
sometimes you just got to figure out.
Yeah, it was hundreds of thousands of points cheaper to fly out of Venice than out of Paris. And we were like, okay, well, we'll go to Rome, then we'll go to Venice, then we'll leave.
Yes. Okay. And then what other things can you use your points? Can you use them on Airbnb? Is that a thing? Are there excursions you can do with them, or is it just flights and hotel?
So through the hotels, their point ecosystem, most hotels only let you do it on rooms. Some are starting to allow on excursions and stuff. It doesn't really work for Airbnb. There was a time where it did, and that they kind of closed that for whatever reason. For the most part, though, it's just either a hotel or a flight. Alaska has this Alaska Unlocked experience where you can actually spend your points on like concert tickets and sporting events and hikes and these random experiences, which is, they just did this in the last year or so. We actually used that to go to a Mariners game before. I don't know if you know that.
I had no clue.
Yeah. And a lot of times it's in their suite. So corporations, as you probably know, will buy a suite as a sponsorship thing to do whatever they got to do. And then Alaska is smart, and they're like, oh, well, we can have people spend their miles on a ticket. So like Climate Pledge Arena, I've seen Lady Gaga, The Who, all these different artists come through, and they're giving suite tickets away for a certain number of points. it's up to you if that makes sense for you, because you can always do the math on that. Well, how much is the cost of a suite ticket, if you can even get it, for dollar and then or cash versus how many points it's going to cost you. So you can do that conversion and figure that out if it makes sense or not.
Do you have any clue, mistakes you've made in the past using points or anything?
I've never once made a mistake in my life. What are you talking about? I am perfect.
Okay.
No, I'm not. Yeah, early on, I way overpaid. I think I did stay at Marriott because it was closer, especially like Disneyland, because we go there often. And the Marriott's literally right across the street. And I think I paid like 400,000 points for 2 nights or something like that. And I was like, that was dumb. We could have spent like 2 weeks at a Hyatt for that same amount.
By the way, Hyatt at Anaheim is amazing. There's numerous of them.
Yes.
They're great.
They're great. They have a free breakfast that's included, which actually is a legit good breakfast.
It's very easy to walk there.
It's not like a muffin.
It's like a full-on buffet.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to go to Disneyland, use your points, stay at Hyatt, you're good to go.
Yep. And Hyatt will transfer from both American Express and Chase. So
nice. Okay, tell us your top tips.
Again, pick 1 or 2 card ecosystems. Probably start with Chase. I look at it as 2 different routes. You want to do your personal route, which you can't and you probably shouldn't open more than 5 personal cards within a 24-hour or 24-month time frame. And Chase, actually most banks they have that limit. So if you're over 5 cards in a 24-month time frame, they actually will deny you immediately, even if you have great credit and you can afford it. So that's one thing. On the
and
business,
can your partner and you both have a card?
Yep.
So if there's one what's the best card? If you could get one card, what's that one?
So for Chase, the best could mean anything for you, but the one that has the highest sign-up bonus is usually the best, but not always. So Chase just revamped over the last month their high-end premium card, which is called the Chase Sapphire Reserve. They increased the annual fee from $550 to I think $900 or $800 a year, which is kind of ridiculous for what it is. If you're going to use all the extra benefits that come with that, maybe it makes sense. Chase also has a Chase Sapphire Preferred versus the Reserve, which is currently only $95 a year, but apparently they're going to increase that annual fee up as well.
So is it really about the signing bonus or about just the combination of things?
It's a combination of the annual fee, what other, in addition to the points, benefits you're going to get and what you're actually going to use. They're kind of getting a little coupon booky, meaning you don't get the points, but you get all these extra little benefits, which you have to sign up through their thing to get. And
okay, got it.
So it's hard to say what's the best.
What's your favorite of ours?
Of ours, my most lucrative was recently, even though I already have an American Express gold card, they gave us another gold card. Same business. I don't know why, but they gave us another one.
Great. Thanks, American Express.
It has, I think, a $295 annual fee, but they gave us 225,000 American Express points.
Whoa.
For spending like $4,000 over a 6-month time frame. I'm like, that's not hard.
Do you want to tell them your record that you set for getting points for the card you just got?
So Alaska Airlines
This is a world record here.
Alaska Airlines just redid, like I said earlier, their points system. They had a new credit card that they released, which is a more premium. It's like $395 a year. It comes with 2 lounge the Atmos Summit card, I believe.
And so you got this card.
So I got this card the day that, you pre-signed up for it, and if you did that, they give you an extra 5,000 mile bonus. Or I think they call them points now, not miles. And so I got an email. I was just, I woke up, I was at the gym. That's usually what I do in the morning. I'm usually on my phone going through my email. It's like 6 a.m. I get this email from them saying, oh, the card's released. You can sign up now. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'll sign up. So I signed up right then. Took all of 2 minutes or something. Saved it in one password. Thank you.
They gave you the number.
They gave me, so I didn't immediately get the number. I got approved, and then like the next day I got an email saying, all right, your card is being printed. It's going to be shipped in like 7 to 10 business days. I'm like, all right, whatever. So a couple weeks it'll get here. I'm like, oh, well, we just got, we have a big architect fee that had to be paid. It was like $6,500.
The joys of being a real estate investor.
Exactly. The minimum to get the bonus was $6,000. So I was like, oh, I can just pay this with that. So this was literally like the next day after I signed up for the card. So I was like, I wonder if I can get a temporary credit card number online. So I went on, it didn't show up on the app, the Bank of America app, but it did show up on, bankofamerica.com. So I used that, paid, and like literally the day after I signed up, I'd already hit the bonus, and they were like, oh, congrats. So within one day of
he
this,
doesn't even have the card yet, and he's hit the bonus.
So yeah,
so much money we spend. Yay.
I mean, we got to spend it anyway.
You got to be smart though. When you get a big bill from somebody, it's like, hey, if I could pay this with the credit card, I'm doing it. And it makes, I don't know about you, but it makes me mentally not be as stressed and sad when I have to pay these big bills. They come and I'm like, oh, points.
Yeah, exactly.
Yay.
Yeah.
More points, more travel.
Well, and disclaimer, don't do this if you can't pay the card off every month.
Yeah.
Like this is not, we're not saying build up all this debt. No. This is, as soon as these bills come in, you're setting aside, if you need to mentally do that, set aside that amount in a savings account or a separate account so you can pay that off. Like that is what
you have to pay everything off.
Pay it off every single month. This is not a rolling, building up debt kind of thing.
This is just, if you're going to pay it with the card, then pay it off, get the points.
Exactly.
Kind of system.
Exactly.
Okay. So those are your favorite cards.
Yep.
And then any other tips?
Look for those big sign-up bonuses.
What's a good one? What do you want to see?
It depends. So Chase is usually like a good one would be like over 90,000 points, which is a really good one.
Okay.
Some of those business cards, they're like 75,000 and there's no annual fee, which I'm like, sweet, I'll take a free 75,000 points. Like American Express, they have a blue card, which there's no annual fee. It's actually a great card to use because I think it's two points for every dollar you spend on anything.
Oh, nice.
Which most things, like I said earlier, it'll be like $3 or 3 points per $1 spent on only these certain categories. So if you don't remember which category that is, and you're like, well, I want to get as many points as I can, or I know that if I spend it on this card, it's only going to be 1 point per dollar, I could just use the blue card, and that'll be 2 points per dollar.
Okay. Any other tips?
Book early. That's the big one. You're most likely going to find them that way. The nice thing about that Rome.travel is they do have alerts set up.
Nice.
So I have, for any trip that we're looking for.
Tell me where are you trying to go that you haven't told me that you have alerts set up for?
That's the same trip I always tell you about. Tokyo right now.
Okay. Anything
and then
else?
You're going to some trip in Europe with a friend, and so I have alerts set up for you to go there, which that's going to be easier because it's just you. And so I have alerts set up for all these things.
Sometimes he sets up alerts for things, and then I'm like, and he goes, oh, just points came out for this flight. And I'm like, what? We never even talked about going to this place. But, he wants to know.
Oh, darn.
He wants to know.
Let's see. Yeah, that's how I find those deals.
And the sweet spots kind of like.
Yeah, and then the sweet spots, use Hyatt for hotels if you're going to stay in a hotel. Air France for Europe. To get a little more, I guess, detailed, business class, it's not the same on every airline. So look at, like, it might be really cheap to use business class on this specific airline. And even within that airline, they have different planes that have either a newer business class seat or a really old, outdated one.
And how do you figure this out?
That's like listening to those other podcasts and
you told me once you went on YouTube and looked at it,
video
of the plane.
So I will generally, like, if I know exactly what flight right before I book it, or when I see that that's often available, I'll Google or I'll look on YouTube. Hey, what is the business class seat look like? What is the experience here? Is the food good? Is it crap? Is the service good? Is it bad? Like all that fun stuff. So I will look that up.
And some of them don't have really a first class, right?
Yeah. Some don't have a first class at all. They only have business class. Some have crazy first class where, like, there's one called the suite. There's another called the apartment. It's literally like a room that is all yours, and there's a full-on bed. Some of them even have like a full shower.
I don't want to get this for the kids.
No. That's going to be a you and I trip.
Even if we can do points, I feel like that's
expectations are going to be
spoiled.
Exactly. Yeah, no,
they already got too spoiled, so we can't go any further than that.
Yeah, and then also you don't always have to fly business class. Like obviously, the business class for international flights, they're more like first class. It's actually better than first class in like 100%. Domestically.
Like we got to lay down. They gave us like slippers, blankets, like eye masks, headphones,
a whole toiletry kit. Had a huge TV thing. Like it was awesome.
Multi-course meal.
So business class is way nicer than domestic first class in the U.S. Their premium class is more like first class, actually kind of nicer than first class.
And that's what we flew on the way home.
Yeah, because it was way cheaper. Also, I did that on purpose because I didn't want the kids to sleep on the way home because I was trying to get them the jet lag to be minimized. And it was still super nice, like footrest that went way back, giant TV, still a ton of great food.
Wait, tell them about the crazy place we went at the airport.
Oh, yeah, this is the other thing. When you fly business class, if you have, well, not even if, usually you have lounge access. So with Air France, Air France doesn't have a lounge in Seattle, but they are partnered with Delta. And Delta has 2 different lounges in Seattle. I think they probably have more, but they have 2 different versions of a lounge. They have the Delta One lounge and the regular lounge. Regular lounge, super nice. Delta One lounge, insane. Like
literally crazy, you guys.
Insane. Like it was basically like a really nice high-end restaurant.
Really, really, really nice.
Yeah, we sat down. They like sat us at this table,
outside.
Which we sat outside at the airport, which was super cool. They had a waiter come and be like, what would you like? Here's a menu. And it was like a full-on restaurant. They had all this super high-end alcohol. They had all this amazing food.
Super high-end. The kids got like so many things.
Yeah.
They got dumplings.
And it was all free.
Random. It was all free.
All free, included with the business class ticket.
Yeah.
So
it's like a super high-end restaurant. It was really cool. Beautiful.
Yep. So factor that in. And then that also, we got lounge access to the Air France lounge in Paris.
By the way, Air France has the best bread on their flights.
Well, of course.
It's insane.
Yeah.
No, but like you wouldn't expect, like some of the best bread we had the whole trip was on the Air France airplane.
Yeah. So factor that in as well. Like flying premium economy, that did not come with lounge access. We didn't care because we had like an hour and a half connection between in Paris. So it didn't matter. We just went to Starbucks and grabbed a bite and a drink and got back on the plane.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was actually something that was really cool.
Are there any educational things? You mentioned a few, like the Roam, the Max My Points.
Those are the tools to find the actual availability, the education part, Points Guy, Frequent Miler. There's literally a ton of people that are Instagram famous. Yeah. So follow whoever you're into. I get all these random things that pop up on Instagram for me. And I'll find tips here and there. I mean, there's so much more I could go into. I'm not going to because this has already been a long time. But yeah, there's a lot.
But feel free to reach out and ask us questions if we didn't cover something that you're wondering about.
Yeah. But this is how we use our spending on the flips, paying for materials, contractors, staging even, all these things to fund our vacations. And it's not affecting our personal credit, it's affecting the business credit. And the business credit is brand new because it's an LLC that we just created for that specific flip. So it is a fantastic way to fund your vacations for almost free. It is great.
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
We had a great time in Europe.
Yeah.
Thank you, real estate, for giving us something to spend money on so that we can travel the world with our kids.
And it allowed us to pay off those credit cards because the profits that we made from flipping the house.
Yeah. Let me tell you, having 3 kids is very expensive to travel.
Oh, my God.
It was really nice to have some support from our points. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Christian, thanks for sharing all of your points nerdiness with us. I appreciate it. I learned a lot because I know nothing about this, so this was great. And if you want to see us next time on the Awesome in Seattle podcast, check it out, subscribe, and as always, if you have real estate questions, not just point questions, you can reach out to us and we will help you on the investor side, or if you just want to buy a primary.
Yeah. And you can even use the same tactic if you're remodeling your own primary home. Like, it's a fantastic way to go. So let us know if you got any questions. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next episode of the Awesome in Seattle podcast. See ya.